About an hour outside of Las Vegas is the Warm Springs Natural Area, a place that you can visit throughout the year. But most importantly, it's home to a rare fish that can only be found here, and we're going to tell you more about it. Make the short journey 60 miles north of Las Vegas, and you'll find a serene escape far from the traffic and distractions of our valley, into a valley of a different kind. The Warm Springs Natural Area is an island in a sea of desert, welcoming city dwellers to tranquil open spaces. The Southern Nevada Water Authority purchased more than 1,000 acres here in 2007 to protect the beginnings of the 32-mile-long Muddy River, which contributes to our community water supply. While this water helps sustain our way of life in Las Vegas that can sometimes be wild, SNWA also took on the responsibility to sustain this area's wildlife.
Yes, it's part of our duty to protect the fish and about 30 other sensitive species here at Warm Springs.
David Zizdek is one of 10 environmental biologists, plus many other ecologists and planners who monitor and aid the health of the wildlife throughout our water system. But at Warm Springs, there's one species in particular, one about the size of a finger, that lives nowhere else in the world and requires focus, time, and attention, the Moapa Dace.
Well, the Myapidis is only found here in the upper Muddy River. It's got a very limited range. It's restricted to the warm water at the headwaters of the Muddy River. It can't live anywhere else downstream because the water's too cool. It's well evolved for this spring system here at Warm Springs.
The Dace has been declared endangered for decades. When SNWA first assessed its population in 2008, it discovered an alarmingly low 459 Dace.
Invasive fish are a real problem for native fish, especially in the desert southwest, where there's a lot of hot springs and a lot of very limited habitat.
Since then, the SNWA's efforts to remove invasive species and reshape aspects of the watershed to allow the Dace to thrive have exceeded expectations. Population numbers are now up over 4 times. How do we know?
2 Moapa Dace, 20 springfish.
When we said the Moapa Dace takes focused time and attention, we weren't exaggerating. SNWA counts the fish population twice a year, and this is the only way to do it.
2 springfish, 2 adults.
And we snorkel over 6 miles of stream over 2 days, and we crawl and swim upstream, and we count every fish that we see, including the Moapa Dace, Moapa White River springfish, and the non-native fish that we have in the system. The conditions can be a little tough. The water can be shallow. You know, you have to crawl over sharp rocks. Sometimes there's deep pools you have to swim up. Sometimes you have to swim under logs or pull yourself under or over a log to make your way upstream, and there's a lot of sharp, pointy sticks. One good thing we have is the water comes out of the ground at 90 degrees, so it's always comfortable water temperature. You know, typically in the summer it's nice and cool. In the winter it's nice and warm to be in the water.
And how do you avoid counting the same fish twice?
The stream is usually narrow enough. Once you count them and then you pass them, they're not going to pass you again with the current. And the Dace really like to hang out in fast-moving water, so they can't move past you once you count them.
As of 2022, the Moapa Dace population is nearly 2,000, a number that makes Zizdek feel a bit like a proud papa.
Today I got to see some little bitty babies that were only maybe 3 millimeters long, darting along, feeding just like the adults feed, moving in the same way, and it's just really good to see that next generation growing up.
In addition to being home to the Moapa Dace, the Warm Springs Natural Area is also one of the best kept secrets in Southern Nevada. It's open to the public from Labor Day through Memorial Day.